Today on Telegraph TV, the Prince of Perth tells us how to bat and bowl at the WACA. Hello and welcome to our preview of the third Ashes Test from Perth, the most isolated city in the world, with Marston's pedigree. Now, as I said, Perth is the most isolated city in the world. It also has a famous pitch, the WACA, which stands, of course, for Western Australian Cricket Association. It's always a very fast pitch, or at least it used to be. Nobody better to tell us about how to bat here and how to bowl here than the man I call the Prince of Perth, Justin Langer, who, of course, played for Australia for many years as a left-hand opening batsman. Also, his home ground is here. He scored something like 8,000 first-class runs here as well. And he's now the Australian batting coach. Justin, firstly, what do you make of this pitch? It looks very green, in fact.
Yeah, look, it's a lot greener than I've seen it before, but I think that's a great thing for the spectacle of Test cricket. In the past almost decade now, it's been so flat here, and it's been a very hard place for bowlers. So I like to see the grass on it. It's still very flat. I think it'll be a really good contest for both the bat and the ball.
What do you make of the amount of grass here?
Well, look, you can see there is a fair bit of grass on it, but it's very fine grass. And as I said, the surface looks nice and flat. And I'd be surprised, it might swing a little bit with these unusual breezes here at the WACA. With the grass and the breeze, I think it'll swing a bit, but I think it's generally a great place to bat.
Now, of course, Perth is a famous ground not only for its fast pitch, or at least in the history of cricket it was a fast pitch, but also the wind, which tends to blow from that direction in the afternoon. It's called the Fremantle Doctor because it tends to relieve the heat in the afternoon. And that, Justin, also poses unusual problems for both batsmen and bowlers. Can you just outline those?
Yeah, it's our sea breeze, and we get so hot over here, it's crucial during the summer, but from the far end, which you can see up here, the bowler's running down with the breeze behind their back. They think they're all Shoaib Akhtar. It's brilliant because there really is a strong breeze. But from the batting point of view, you sometimes feel like you're being pushed back, so you've really got to push yourself or have the intent to keep coming forward. On the flip side, when you're batting from the other end and the bowlers are running into a stiff breeze, then you feel like you can keep almost falling at the bowler, so it's a nice place to be able to hit the ball down the ground.
And I suppose the key to it is that it has a reputation for a bit more bounce and a bit more pace, which I know has sort of disappeared over the years, but still it's important for bowlers not to bowl too short, right?
Yeah, very much. Often the bowlers come here and the mistakes they make, the visiting bowlers, they see the ball flying through to the wicket keeper, and you don't see that in many grounds around the world now, so they get a bit carried away, and I'm sure bowlers like to see that. The ball was zipping through to the keeper, so sometimes they bowl too short here, but the margin for error is quite small for them. If you bowl too short, it's a lovely place to cut and pull. If you over pitch because it's so hard.
You're saying that with a lot of glee, aren't you? Because I can just see you imagining some of those cuts and pulls you played here over the years.
I used to love here for that reason. You can play your drives, you can play your cuts and pulls, but you're also, the margin for error is small. You've got to play the ball very late under your nose.
Now, just one other issue that's sort of cropped up over the last few days has been the Australian selection. They've called up Michael Beer, who actually plays at a club just down the road here, although he's from Victoria originally, left-arm spinner. Only 4 or 5 first-class matches, so it's a bit of a risk for Australia. They've also brought back Steve Smith and Mitchell Johnson as well, so quite a lot of changes in your team. I know you're not on the selection panel, but I mean, what did you make of those changes, and how do you think Australia will make use of them?
Well, the first one, you didn't mention Phil Hughes as well. That was a forced change because Simon Kadich's injury. I'm disappointed for the guys who are left out, but when you're 1-0 down, and traditionally if Australia loses one test, there's usually some changes, but we've lost 4 out of the last 5 test matches, so I think the selectors felt that they had to make a change. They've made some. I was surprised about Michael Beer's selection, having never seen him bowl in a game before, but he comes quite highly recommended from Mickey Arthur. Greg Chappell's seen him a bit. He comes highly recommended. Shane Warne's given him a big rap, so he comes highly recommended. Time will tell. Hopefully he'll do very well. And Steve Smith, look, he is a fascinating young player, very unorthodox, brilliant in the field, bowls leg spin, which we like in Australia, and he can hit the ball as hard as anyone, so he's an exciting package.
For me, and I mean you probably can't comment on this, I suspect, looking at this pitch, which is quite green, although not particularly damp, that maybe Michael Beer, the left-arm spinner, is a bit of a decoy, and I don't think he'll play. I think it'll be 4 seamers and Steve Smith, the leg spinner, to give them the spin option. Well, England are now loosening up after Australia have had their practice this morning, midday here, so the heat pretty intense in Perth. Of course, England have one decision to make themselves, which is whether they play Tim Bresnan or Chris Tremlett to replace the injured Stuart Broad. My hunch is it'll be Tim Bresnan. Bresnan, just for his consistency and also the fact that he's very strong and robust into this wind which comes in the afternoon. I think his strength will be very important. Anyway, we'll see. We're really looking forward to it. Third test starts tomorrow at 2:30 in the morning English time.